Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position where your spine and the back of your neck can sit nice and long and tall, opening up your chest, and opening up your diaphragm, and opening up your heart. Let's gently close our eyes and soften our thoughts. Soften our eyes. Soften our shoulders. And soften our heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is Ahimsa. So, Patanjali, going back several thousand years, took the sutras. There are 182 sutras that have been around, and he kind of put them together in a nice, neat package, and they're called the 8 limbs of yoga. And the first limb of the 8 limbs is the yamas. And the yamas are the guidelines on how to interact with the world. The first of the 5 yamas is ahimsa. Ahimsa is Sanskrit for nonviolence, compassion, and kindness. Oh, nonviolence, non-harmfulness, compassion, and kindness. And that would mean to ourselves as well as to others. So, as a yogi, we would practice ahimsa on the mat, being kind to our mind by not giving in to negative thoughts about our practice today or any day. It's just our practice. It's not intended to be perfect. And we would be kind to our body by compassionately listening to it, finding that sweet spot between effort and relaxation. Because yoga should not harm us, it should help our bodies, and it should help us move with grace. And then also being kind to our spirit. We should always lead with our heart, not our ego. So being on Zoom actually helps with that a little bit. You're not looking to the side, seeing what your classmates up to. And you can, listen to just the cues and not and really embody what that cue means to you, not how it looks on me or not how it looks on anybody else. So lead with your heart, your intuition, and not your ego. So, yoga helps us to be kind to ourselves on the mat, taking these principles and taking them off the mat so we can be kind to ourselves and others off the mat. And as the Dalai Lama says, who's 90 years old, by the way, be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. That's his quote. Be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. So part of the 8 limbs of yoga is pranayama, and we typically have a pranayama that we focus on each class. Today I'm going to focus on Dirga, which is also known as 3-part breath or complete breath. Dirga in Sanskrit means complete. So it comes from the stomach up through the rib cage on up to the chest, and it's not just sitting in your chest. And that breath, it allows your mind to be stilled. It gives your body that life energy because you're taking that full, complete breath. So you're giving oxygen to all of your body, and it's a calming of the spirit. So I know we've done it a bunch of times, but just kind of put your right hand on your tummy and your left hand on your chest, and with the inhale through your nose, just kind of feel that wave of breath kind of expand your tummy, and then send that wave up to your chest, up to your ribs rather first, and then up to your chest. You may not feel too much up here. And then once you've reached your chest, you send that exhale through your nose and have it kind of go away from your chest, and go away from your ribs, go away from your stomach, kind of flattening out your stomach. So let's just take 3 deep breaths coming from the stomach all the way up to the chest and then back again, just kind of like an ocean wave. And we'll have some more pranayama, and you can continue that when we start our asana practice. And before that, we'll just take a brief meditation. And today, going back to the mudras, there's a mudra called Lotus Mudra. And to do it, you kind of bring your hands together, and then keeping the base of your hands together and the pinkies and the thumb, you would open up like a blossom, like the lotus blossom, your other fingers. And that opens the heart center and creates a more loving attitude towards others. So you can just kind of create that lotus. So you can have that for your mudra for meditation, or just a simple meditation that would have forget it. Anyway, this one is for concentration. The name of it's on the tip of my tongue, but it's not coming out. Or you can have an affirmation that today's affirmation would be, I lead with my heart, not my ego. I lead with my heart, not my ego. You may open your eyes. That concentration's beyond. It's like, I know it's going to come to me eventually. Alrighty, let's begin our asana practice. So nice, comfortable seated position, again with your spine and the back of your neck nice and long and tall. We'll set our fingertips alongside us on the mat, and then taking deep inhales and deep exhales, we'll bring our hands up overhead. Palms come together, and then exhale, bringing the palms down to heart center. And then opening up, nice and wide, expanding our chest, leading with our heart. And then exhale, closing the hands back together. Then inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down, bringing hands to heart center. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale up. And exhale down. And one last time, inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale up. And exhale down. We'll bring our right hand to our left knee, take our left fingertips, setting them behind our hips, twisting our torso to the left, sending our gaze, our drishti, straight ahead. Taking a few deep inhales and exhales. And then come back to center, and we'll do that on the other side. Left hand to right knee, right fingertips behind your hips, twisting the torso to the right, sending our gaze straight ahead. It's breezy out there. I'm looking out the window, and the clouds are, there's a little blue sky and some cumulus clouds just floating by. And that, when we're on our mat, that's what we want to do, is just have things float by. It's our time to be present and just let other things in life kind of float by. So we'll come back to center, bring our arms out in front of us, and then we're going to cross the right hand over the left and bring the right hand to the left shoulder, left hand to the right shoulder, and just give ourselves a hug. Kindness starts with ourselves, kind of like in the airplane where they say, make sure the airbag gets deployed, put it on yourself so you can help others. So you're helping yourself so that you can help others. And then send the hands back out, and we'll just cross the other way, bringing the left hand again to the shoulder, right hand to the left shoulder, and just give ourselves a nice heartfelt hug. can release your hands. We'll, if you have your legs crossed, we'll just uncross them, set them side by side, and gently walk your hands out in front of you till you get to that sweet spot. Again, remember that being kind to your body. So you just come to that spot where you feel a little bit of effort, a little bit of relaxation. And then if you can gently send your elbows down toward the mat, toward the floor. And we'll just take a few deep breaths here. We'll do some hip openers. So, keeping your elbows up, the idea is this pose is just to open our hips up a little bit more. So if they don't come all the way down to the mat, that's fine. And then we'll bring the elbows back up, walk the hands back, sitting back up straight, and then just exchanging the position of our legs. The other leg goes out front. And we'll walk our hands again to that sweet spot of effort and relaxation. And then gently, if you're able, bringing the elbows down toward the mat. It's a little different on this side, for me at least. I can feel a little bit more tightness on the left side. I'll just take my breath and send it to that tightness, trying to send nourishment there. And then lift our elbows up, walk our hands back. And I'm going to go to my hands and knees, but you're welcome to sit. And we're going to do a few head turns and cat-cows, and you can do that either on your hands and knees in a tabletop position or in a seated position, your choice. So I'm going to come to a tabletop position. Wrists right below my shoulders, knees right below the hips, navel's tucked in. And, if you're in a seated position, you can tuck your navel in. And then we'll just send our nose over to the right. Send our eyes over to the right. And then send our head back to center. And the nose goes over to the left. And then back to center. Turning the head again to the right. Back to center. Over to the left. And back to center. Inhale to the right. Exhale back to center. Inhale to the left. And back to center. And then we'll go into cat-cows. So exhale, rounding the back. Sending the chin down toward the chest. Send your gaze, find the drishti of finding your navel. Sending that gaze toward your navel. Really stretching out the spine. And then sending the gaze up. If you're on your hands and knees, it's going to go straight forward. And if you're seated, maybe just to the tops of trees, not straight up. And then we'll just continue this inhale, exhale of cat-cow to your own pace. Take nice, deep breaths and synchronize your movements to your breath. Then come back to a neutral position. And we're going to, and if you're seated, you want to come to a tabletop position. And we'll bring our elbows down to where our hands were, sending our fingers toward the top of the mat. Then we'll walk our legs back just to the point where you can actually touch the mat with your forehead. It will be an extended puppy. This is my Oscar's favorite pose. And then we'll walk our knees back, bringing ourselves back to tabletop position, and do a few bird dogs. So today's bird dog version will be, we're going to bring our elbow and knee, opposite elbow and opposite knee together beneath us. But let's start by extending our right leg up, left arm goes straight up, gaze is straight down, navel's tucked in, and then bringing the left elbow to the right knee and extending it out. We'll do this 5 more times. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now come back to tabletop. We'll do that on the other side. So we'll send the left leg up. The right arm goes up. And then elbow to knee, 5. And then 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. And then we'll set our knees out to each side of the mat, bringing our big toes together and lowering our hips to our heels, coming into wide-legged child's pose. Just sending the fingertips up toward the top of the mat. And then we'll come back up to tabletop, bringing our knees together, and then sending our hips down to our ankle. We're going to come into hero's pose, and if you have a block or a towel, you can sit on that. That's more comfortable. And we'll do a yoga locks. We're going to bring our hands behind our hips, really relaxing the shoulders. Get them in a really relaxed position. And then we'll extend our hands out behind us. And then back toward our hips. We'll do that a couple times. So gently sending them out behind us. And then back to our hips. 2 more times. Out. And then back. And one last time. Out. And back. Alrighty, back to tabletop. We'll tuck our toes under. Walk our hands back, come into a squat position. And then push down into our feet, come up to mountain pose. And we'll point our big toes toward the straight edge of the mat. And then lift our big toes and the other toes up off the mat and spreading them apart as far as we can. And then setting them back down on the mat, lifting our heels just ever so slightly off the mat. And then bringing them back down, really feeling that connection to earth, connection of grounding. On a windy day, that's a good feeling to have. You're grounded to the earth, that no matter what happens, you're going to be stable. Then the rest of the mountain pose, our legs are nice and straight and strong. Little gentle flex in the knees, flexibility, life. Navel's tucked to the spine, elongating the back, spine, and neck. And the shoulders are relaxed, low back. Chin is tucked ever so slightly back, just helping create that nice long line in the back of your neck and spine. Crown of the head, reaching up to the sky. Big, beautiful sky of blue and puffy clouds. And then we'll sweep our hands up overhead. And then exhale, bringing our hands down toward the mat, bending our knees as we go to support our lower back. And then we'll bring our hands to our shins. Again, nice flat back, long neck, gaze is straight down. Kind of focus on that nice one long line, linear line of your spine and the back of your neck. And then sending the crown of your head down toward the mat. And just dangling your hands, letting gravity take over. That connection to the earth with gravity helping. And then we'll sweep our hands all the way up overhead. Just reminded me of Artemis 2. It's like, I wonder how they felt when they hit back to gravity. I bet they really felt that stronger than we do today, but that strong connection of the earth. And then we'll come up onto our tippy toes. Our hands overhead. And then slowly lowering our hands and slowly lowering our feet down to the mat. And you can do 1 foot at a time if that works better for you. We're just trying to work on our balance and the strength of our feet here too. So sweeping our hands up again, coming up onto our tippy toes. And then lowering back down with control. And then one last time, up. All the way up onto the tippy toes. Stretching up to the sky, and then bringing our hands down, bringing our heels down. Sending our hands all the way down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Hands come to the shins, nice flat back. Then the crown of the head reaches down toward the earth. And then sweeping our hands all the way up again. We'll bring our hands up and over, and we're going to take our right hand and wrap it around our left wrist. And then send the left fingertips up high. Trying to stretch your arm up as high up as it can go. And then guide that left hand over to the right side. And then we'll come back to center. We'll switch hands. Left hand goes around the right wrist. And send those right fingertips up toward the sky. And then guide that hand over to the left side. And then back up again. We'll do that again on both sides. So right hand around the left wrist. Left fingers go up and over. And then back. Swapping hands. Right fingertips go up and over. And then back up again. And then we'll sweep our hands down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Inhale, bringing the hands to the shins. Nice flat back. And sending the crown of our head down toward the mat. And then sweeping our hands all the way up overhead again, bringing our palms together. And then the palms come to heart center. We're going to do some leg lifts. So if you like, you can just have, I'm going to start with the right leg going up. You can bring it up as if you're seated in the chair. Or if you want a little bit more stretch, interlace your fingers, wrap them around your knee, guide that knee up toward your chest. And then I'm going to send that knee out to the right side. So I'm going to remove my left hand, kind of anchor it near my heart to open up my right leg. And then set that down. And we'll sweep our hands up over again. Big inhale. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And we'll do that on the other side. Again, you can bring it into a chair pose or interlace your fingers, guiding your knee up toward your chest. And then we'll send that left leg out to the left side. And some hip openers. And then set that down. And one last time, sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Big inhale. Exhale, bringing our hands down in the mat, bending our knees as we go. Inhale, hands to the shins, nice flat back. And crown of the head goes down toward the earth. And sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. And palms come to heart center. And then palms come to the back of the hips or supported back bend. Our feet are about hip width apart. Palms of our hands are resting on our hips, fingertips pointing down. Shoulders are very relaxed and roll back. You tuck your chin toward your chest, keeping it there as we drop our shoulders back, sending our gaze kind of straight ahead. And then inhale and exhale. And if you feel that inhale, exhale is a little on the shallow side, you may want to adjust your position a little more upward till you find that nice, smooth, even breath. Smooth, strong, even breath, should say. Not shallow. And then come back up to mountain pose. Very good. We'll continue on. And with Patanjali's 8 limbs of yoga, the first one, the yamas, and first of the yamas. So the very first thing that Patanjali wants to get across is kindness to yourself. So any point during your practice, finding that sweet spot is really important. You don't want this to become a Simon Says. You want this to be a practice for yourself, listening to your own body, what your own body feels is right for you today. So that's I mean, there's such an emphasis in the world on kindness. I mean, the Dalai Lama is huge. He talks about it constantly. And you'll hear a reading later on about it as well. So it's something that we should keep foremost. You know, it's the first thing in our yoga practice, but it's something that everybody should keep first and foremost in their mind. So there, sweeping our hands up overhead. And exhale, bringing our hands down to the mat. And we'll send both feet back to downward dog. We'll just pedal out here for a few moments. And I know with me, it's a work in progress all the time, finding kindness. Because it seems like it's pretty easy to default to the other feelings. So we'll just pedal out here for a moment. And then with our left knee, we're going to bring it to our left elbow, pushing off with our right toes. And then back again, pedal out. And then left knee to left elbow again. And then back to downward dog and pedal out. And then on the third one, we're just going to bend our knee and send our left foot all the way up between our hands, coming into runner's lunge. With our left knee right above our left ankle. The ball of our right foot nice and secure in the mat. Then place the right hand down on the mat and sweep the left hand up to the sky. Runner's lunge with a twist. And then send the left hand back down. We'll bring the right knee down to the mat. The top of the right foot down to the mat, coming into low lunge. And with the left knee above the left ankle again, we're going to push down on the left foot, sweeping our hands up to the sky. And then bringing our hands back down to the mat. And then tuck our toes under, come back to runner's lunge. And we're going to come into a high lunge now. So you can do this in 1 or 2 steps. 2 steps would be bringing your hands to your knee, and then sending the hands up to the sky, or you can do that in 1 movement. And if you're a bit wobbly, you can pivot your back foot, bring it foot fully down onto the mat. And then we're going to interlace our fingers behind our back, go back to that yoga lock. And then we'll pivot at the waist, sending our gaze down to our big toe, sending our hands out behind us. To the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Bring that left foot back, join the right foot, and come into plank. Shoulders are right above the wrists. Feet are pushing down to the mat. Heels are pushing to the back of the mat. Navel's tucked to the spine. No saggy tummies, please. And then we'll lower down to the mat. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. And with our hands right below our shoulders, we'll lift our chin and chest up, gently pushing to the hands, coming into cobra. And then continue pushing up to tabletop and down to child's pose. And then back up to tabletop. Tuck our toes under, come to downward dog. And we'll slowly walk our feet, taking little teeny baby steps, walking our feet up to our hands, forward fold, and then sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together, palms come down to heart center. And then we're going to come into tree pose. So you can bring your leg up and then set your toes down with your heel against your ankle for one variation. Other variation would be the sole of your foot on the inner calf. And then the third variation would be above the knee, not on the knee in any of these variations. And then we'll make the Lotus Mudra. Just bring your hands together, keeping your pinky and thumb together, sending the other fingers out. You can hear my floor creaking below me. And if you like, you can bring that lotus blossom up and above your head. Alright. And then release from that pose, and we'll do that all on the other side. So, sweeping our hands up overhead, and bringing our hands down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. We'll send our feet behind us into downward dog and pedal out here for a moment. Kind of walk the dog on such a nice spring day. And then bring the right knee to the right elbow, pushing off with the left toes. And then back again, downward dog, and pedal out. And then knee to elbow again. And then back, and pedal out. And on the third time, we're going to bring the foot up between the hands, so bending the knee and sending the foot all the way up, coming into runner's lunge. And we'll place the left hand on the mat, sweeping the right hand up to the sky, and then bringing the right hand back down. We'll lower the left knee down to the mat. Top of the left foot comes down in the mat. With the right knee directly over the right ankle, we'll sweep our hands up and then back down. And then we'll come back to runner's lunge, tucking our toes under. And again, two high lunge, either one or two movements, sweeping up. And you can pivot your back foot. That's more secure. And then we'll bring our hands behind our back, interlacing our fingers, relaxing our shoulders. And then pivoting at the waist to look at our big toe, extending our hands out behind us for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. And send the right foot back to join the left foot, coming into plank pose. And lowering down to the mat, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. With the hands right below the shoulders, lift the chin up, lift the chest up, gently press into the hands, coming up into cobra. And then continue pushing to tabletop and then down to child's pose. Then we'll come back up to tabletop, tuck our toes under, lifting our hips up to the sky, back to downward dog. And we'll take little teeny baby steps to bring our feet up to our hands, coming into a forward fold, and then sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together, palms come to heart center, and then we'll do tree pose in your version that works for you today. And once you're in your tree pose, you can open your lotus flower at heart and send it up above your head if you'd like. Oops. Maybe I'll find a different spot to sit that. There you go. And release. Oh, well done. I like that lotus flower on top of the tree pose. You envision a lotus flower. Its roots are always in the mucky muck of a pond. I mean, the muckiest of muck. And then it sends that one stalk all the way up through the water. And on the top of the water, it just blossoms. Just a beautiful image. Alrighty, bringing our pinky toes to the edge of the mat, tucking our heels in 45 degrees. We'll come into our wide-legged squat. Palms come together, and we'll lower our hips down toward the mat, sending the elbows in to the inner part of the knees. And then we can sit ourselves down the mat and roll back. Sorry, whichever way you want to roll back, I did express method. And just kind of interlace the fingers around the knees and rock back and forth, just kind of giving your lower back a nice massage. Then maybe make circles with your toes, one direction going clockwise, and then reversing counterclockwise. And then we'll place both feet down on the mat, having our legs about hip width apart, with sending our heels as close to the hips as they can get comfortably. Our arms are along the side with the palms facing down to support us. And we'll do a few cat-cow and then lift into bridges. And we're not gonna, I mean, it's up to you, but if you want to get higher and higher with each bridge, that's up to you. We're just going to start off by bringing our navel to our spine, kind of a cat position, if you will, creating that bowl in our tummy, and then arching the lower back just ever so slightly for the cow, and then again tucking in for cat, arching for cow, tucking in for cat, and this time we're going to push down in our feet and lift our hips up toward the sky. Again, just go as high up as comfortable. You'll feel it in your thighs, helps with your thighs, your quads. And then gently lowering down and really focus on trying to touch down each vertebrae slowly down to the mat. And gently lowering. And we'll do that again. So we'll tuck our tummy in for cat, arch a little bit for cow, tuck in again for cat, arch again for cow, tuck in for cat, and push down to the feet, lifting our hips up, maybe a little bit higher, or maybe not. Knees should be parallel to one another, hip width apart, gaze straight up to the sky. And then slowly lower down again. Maybe close your eyes and really feel that connection as you're lowering down to the earth. One vertebrae at a time. Alrighty, and one last time. Tuck the navel in, cat. Arch fit for cow. Tuck in for cat. Arch a bit for cow. And tuck in for cat. Push down to the feet and lift up. And gently breathe any tense spots. And then slowly, with intentions, lowering down, connecting to the earth. Alrighty, then we'll extend our feet to the end of the mat, sending our heels into each corner, sending our arms out a little bit from our side of our bodies, flipping our palms up to the sky, really feeling our shoulder blades snug in the mat, relaxing our shoulders, having a deep inhale through our nose, and then a big, big exhale through our mouth. Do that 2 more times. Big inhale. And a big exhale through the mouth. Just sink down into the mat. One last time. Big inhale through the nose, maybe with a smile on your lips, as if you're smelling spring flowers. And then big exhale. And then I have a reading for you. It is by the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Here's a king that I can get behind. And it's his 6 principles of nonviolence. First one is nonviolence is a way of life for courageous people. 2, nonviolence seeks to win friendship and understanding. 3, nonviolence seeks to defeat injustice, not people. 4, nonviolence holds that suffering can educate and transform. Number 5, nonviolence chooses love instead of hate. And the last principle of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. is nonviolence believes that the universe is on the side of justice.